never ceases to pique my curiosity, like the bat signal or a high-speed police chase. Whenever there are searchlights, my brain starts to triangulate what's going on and figure out where they're at. And I start to wonder things like, what is it that's so exciting? What's out there anyways? I wonder where it's really even at. Searchlights are a beacon. They command your attention. In the nighttime sky, they shine, very much like the bat signal. And your eye is drawn to try and figure out what is going on. The searchlight atop the Luxor Hotel in Vegas is twice as bright as that same amount of space on the sun. That's pretty bright. So why do we use these searchlights? Well, because people want you to pay attention to something that's going on. You see it at Hollywood movie premieres. You see it at grand openings and gala events. They have these big lights in the sky because they want you to know something is going on here and they want you to be a part of it. So doesn't it make sense then that a searchlight could also be a beacon to your heart? When a client comes in stuck around some area of growth in their business, usually the other thing that comes along with it is an idea about something that lights them up that they haven't explored. And I call this searchlighting. So often we get focused on the thing that we're stuck on, and that focus is what actually creates the stuckness. I've maintained for years that we always know what our very next step is. We just may not feel comfortable taking it for a variety of reasons. We may not think it applies to us. We may not think that it's appropriate at this time. We may be asking ourselves, who do we think we are to take that step? Or we might just be second guessing it because we don't think that it's relevant to the thing that we're stuck around in the first place. Sometimes we just need a fresh perspective. It's a very common occurrence to find yourself fixated on the place that you're stuck and wanting to get unstuck. But that's akin to staring at the closed door when the delivery man is standing at the window ringing a bell saying, "Hey, I've got something for you over here." Searchlighting gives you permission to open up your focus and pay attention to what's lighting you up. Just like you're answering the delivery man at your open window to see what he has to offer for you. So I'm going to give you 3 simple steps to take searchlighting into your own life and use it as a practice to help you get unstuck when you're feeling like you don't know what to do. Step 1 is to stop and listen. I had a client recently who expressed interest in something that had been calling her name since she was a child, but she had never taken any time to explore or investigate it because of some stories that were going on in her head about what she needed to be doing right now. What she thought she needed to be doing right now was focusing on solving her money problem. She needed cash flow, she needed it now, she needed to get out of debt, she needed to pay bills. She was so focused on money and being stuck around money that she wasn't listening to what was calling her. What lights you up? What's calling to you? Even if it makes no sense and doesn't even seem like it's related to the thing that you're working on, just give yourself permission to listen. Step 2, give yourself permission to investigate. Now, this isn't about reassigning all of your rights and responsibilities and diving headlong into this thing that's calling your name. It's not like that at all. This is about giving yourself permission to explore. Think of it like flirting. You're just looking to see what's out there, not making any commitments and not doing anything that's going to jeopardize what you're already up to. You're not cutting off all ties. You're just opening yourself up to new possibilities. My coach tells a story of how her husband had wanted for years to take his dad on a fishing expedition out on the Great Lakes where they would fish all day and then have their fish that they caught all prepared and have this wonderful meal together and just really have a good time. And he had been saying for years that he wanted to do it, but he never gave himself the time and space to investigate until one day when my coach went to him and said, "You know, honey, I think your dad's looking a little long in the tooth, and if that's something you want to do, you might want to get on that this year." And so he finally took the time to do the investigation, and it turned out he could do a party of 4 for less than $500. And he had one of those V8 moments where he said, "You know, if I'd have known this, I would have been doing this all along for the last few years." Give yourself permission to investigate. Investigate doesn't mean you're cutting all ties. Investigate means you're opening the door to see what's there. You're looking out the window where the delivery man is to see what the box looks like that he's holding for you. You don't have to necessarily take what you find, But giving yourself permission to see what's out there usually opens your eyes in ways you hadn't expected. And I have yet to see a client who's gone through this process who ended up empty-handed for all of their searching and investigating. Step 3, drop your expectations and let it marinate. I went to a conference a few years ago that really ended up being, to me, a waste of money. At least that's what I thought when I showed up there. I knew a bunch of people that were going to go, and I wanted to be there, but more importantly, I felt like I was supposed to be there. And I couldn't really explain it because financially I wasn't in a position to really even be able to afford it. Yet I knew in my bones it was something I had to do. And so I made arrangements, and I cleared my schedule, and I got on a plane, and I went to this conference, and the conference was like, meh, at best. People were great. I had a great time reconnecting with some friends, but the event itself was so lackluster and so disappointing to me that I kicked myself all the way to the airport thinking, oh my God, what a waste of money. I shouldn't have wasted my time. This was such a waste of a trip. But this was the same trip, and this was the same airport where I met Stevie, whom I lovingly refer to as the crazy lady on the airplane, who gave me the idea for The Secret Watch, which is now, as Stevie had predicted, a best-selling book on 2 continents. And I would not have had that opportunity had I not followed the prompting to go to the event. The event didn't turn out in any way, shape, or form like I expected it would, and that's a lesson too. Let go of the expectations. Drop your idea of how it's supposed to look and feel. I know I'm supposed to make money this way. I know I'm supposed to grow my business this way. I know my life is supposed to be this way, when in reality, I went to this conference thinking it was going to turn out a certain way, and I got something so completely unexpected that changed my life in ways I couldn't even have fathomed at the time. Now, it took a couple of years to get the book to be a bestseller, but my whole business is now predicated on the very success principles that are found in that book, and I don't think it would have happened any other way. The hardest part of this process is letting go of the outcome, letting go of the how things are going to happen, and just opening yourself up to honoring the promptings that are coming from within. Sometimes you'll go down a path that ends up feeling like a dead end. Sometimes you'll go down a path and know immediately that this is exactly where you need to be, and why were you thinking of doing something else all those years? You could have been doing this all that time. But either way, you're going to be opened up to new insights, new connections, new ideas, new thought patterns, and new perspectives that are going to inform whatever it is that you're stuck on in a new and empowering way. And sometimes you end up going down a path that opens up more questions than it answers. That's okay. Just keep coming back to that same question that started the searchlighting process in the first place. What is it that lights you up? What is it that's got you excited? What is it that you're on fire for? What is the seed that's been planted in you? And what's your next step in pursuing growing that seed?